Hey guys, guess what? We're gonna be talking about my failed lap band. Let me tell you, if I can take these 15 years and go back in time, I wouldn't get the lap band. I would probably get like the gastric bypass, and even so, like, I don't know whether, I mean, I know it was the right thing to do back then, but at the same time, like, I struggled with my weight, which I will post. It was the most tough time that I had, like I was dealing with so much, I was going through some depression. Hey, move out of there. So I feel like, at the time, I didn't see myself like I was morbid obese. I saw myself more like I'm just big. Like, did I think that being, as small as I am, 5'4", and being 236, which I carry all my weight here, unfortunately. Come on, man, what happened? My mom didn't give me the booty or the hips, but whatever. It is what it is. This is my shape. Anyways, back then I was, I felt like I was going through, mentally, some depression, anxiety. My ADHD was really bad. I was actually in college, or transitioning into college, or just finished. I can't even remember. Oh my God, it's been so long ago. But my kids were like literally 2 and 3 years old. So the time that I spent, I felt like I was just consuming, eating. Like, we would go out to eat, or actually back then we didn't even really go out to eat because we were really poor. And we were just kind of like living day to day. And I remember that it was, long story short, it was a tough time for me. And I think that was probably one of the reasons why I started kind of like ballooning. And it's just, one day I was like, you know what, all this failed attempt to dieting and exercise, and it's really like so difficult. I need help. So I reached out to this hospital, which I won't discredit because they were really good to me. It's just that there were certain things that maybe they should have documented better, because it probably would have helped me not be in the situation that I am now. And partly is my fault, because I kind of learned how to be able to eat certain type of foods and not like gain the weight. But okay, we're gonna talk about exactly how this happened. Now, the first, which I actually have a little note behind me. So the lap band procedure, it's a band that's put on your stomach, and it makes it look kind of like an hourglass shape. So you have two pouches. You have the bottom, and then you have the top. The top fills with food, and it slowly, like, it gives you kind of like the illusion that you're really full, because your stomach is much smaller. And then it starts kind of like dripping, down to the big stomach, and it kind of makes you feel satisfied longer. The only problem is you have to continuously get it adjusted, get monitored, and a whole bunch of stuff that I was not ready to deal with. Who's messaging me? Okay, so I'm gonna show you where the port is, and this is something that I'm like, I wasn't really comfortable with doing before, but that's the reason why I'm doing it now, because you know what? I'm getting my tummy tuck. So you know what? Fuck it, let's do it. So this is my stomach, right? So if you look at right here, this is the incision that they made. They also made some other incisions and in my belly button. But if you look at this little dot here, that's where they removed the saline. So I literally have a port right here. So from here to here is a circle where they insert the needle to remove or insert, saline in order to fill the band. So the band's like this, without being filled. When it's filled, it fills the whole band, right? And you have a little bit of a port where the food is now going down. So you have the small pouch and then your big stomach. So what happens is the food drips down slowly. So it gives you kind of like that feeling of fullness and just makes things, at the beginning was great. So I remember the process I think took within, and I don't know the time frame, but I want to say between, I don't know if it was like 3 to 6 months. So I had to see a psychologist. I had to see a dietitian. I had to go to like group meetings, of like just a bunch of appointments just to get this procedure to see if I'm mentally ready. When I went to the visit, they said, you know, I honestly believe because of your, you kind of like in the brink of like an eating disorder, meaning like my binge eating. They prefer for me to actually get the gastric bypass. And I said, listen, I can control my eating habits. I don't want, which I was total bullshit. That's the reason why I'm here, right? But I wanted to get the lab because I thought it was going to be more safer. And then I, you know, now that I'm older, I think about it. I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? Like, why would I get the lap in knowing this, you know, that it's not the right thing for me? Well, I think I was about 25 years old. I'm 40 years old now. Like, I know better now, you know. Unfortunately, I'm not saying that 25-year-olds don't know better, but we're not thinking the long-term effects. We're really not. We're thinking about the moment. So anyways, long story short, I actually have my notes there because there's so much that I want to talk about. So yeah, it's about 15 years ago. I ended up staying in the hospital 2 days, one night, and I ended up, everything was great. They give you, I think the first day they like clear liquid diet. The second day they see how you tolerate like, what do you call it? Ground. I think they start you off with like Jello, then applesauce, then like soup, popsicles, things like that to see how your body takes it in. It was great. I felt wonderful. I was also hungry, which was kind of fucked up. But when I left the hospital, I think like I was feeling excellent. Like I went home, like everything was fine. And I'm trying to think whether if it was the same day or the next day, my kids and my husband wanted to go to the pizzeria. So they ended up going to the pizzeria. Guess what I ended up doing? I ended up sucking on the freaking cheese because I couldn't eat the freaking pizza because it's no way that I'm gonna get it down there, especially being so new with the surgery. I was gonna end up puking, right? So that happened. So the other thing that I wanted to also mention that at the beginning, it was super easy because my mindset was fresh. I knew what I wanted. I knew that I was going to lose the weight. So I started dropping like 10 pounds, 15 pounds, then 20. And I think by like the third month, I was down like 20 pounds. I was like, woo! Like, let's go. I was feeling it. I was so excited. So then I started dropping it. I went down 80 pounds. So I was like, hell yeah. I'm like, now I'm feeling sexy. And I'm feeling good. And I'm like, yup, I gotta get these new clothes. And I went shopping. And it was just like, ooh, okay, this girl's looking great. Yeah, that didn't last long. So here's the messed up part about it. I wasn't really taking care of myself. Honestly, with the surgery, you shouldn't drink. I would drink. I mean, I was never like that type of, I'm gonna go out and drink every weekend. That's not me. But I would drink. I would also eat. And then I would also purge it. That was so bad. Like, it was really, 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 really the worst thing you can do. Because you know what ends up happening? Now I have a hiatal hernia above my stomach. And that's the other thing why they're removing it. Because I'm taking accountability for my part. So what happened was, like, I would go to the doctor and I would tell them, okay, yeah, I have no restrictions. Can you put a little bit more? So they would put a little bit more. Then I would go home and I'm like, oh, hell no. And I would puke my food because I'm like, fuck, now they put way too much. So there was never like a balance. I feel like there was never a balance. And so I would go back, I would get some removed. and whatever. Anyways, that was just like a hassle on its own because you have to continuously go there, still take some education courses, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, I want to say sometime like 10 years ago. No, I think this was after Jade. No, was it after? I don't even know. Maybe 10, 11 years ago. Maybe I think it was before Jade. I ended up being hospitalized from chronic pain and dehydration. So I was in the hospital for, I think, 2 to 3 nights. They had me on morphine drip. They had me on, I had 6, 7 bags of saline to get the fluids in my body. I was completely dehydrated from the band being way too tight. I was puking. I wouldn't be able to drink. I mean, the restriction was so bad that it literally wreaked havoc in my body. And the messed up part about it is that I became nutrient deficient. I needed B12, I needed iron, I needed calcium, my bones were becoming weak and I felt they were brittle. I sprained my ankle and I hurt my elbow and I felt like literally like I was dying inside. Like it was just so bad. So I was grateful that my husband took me to the hospital. They ended up taking the saline out of my stomach. They didn't take all of it out. That was a big no. When you are having so much pain like that, they apparently didn't know. You need to remove that shit. So they left some of it in there. Apparently they didn't document it properly. And we're going to get to that in a moment. I ended up gaining 10 pounds by the time I left the hospital. 10 pounds in like 3 days. That was so swollen from the IV. Like it was crazy. So anyways, I left there. I started getting back, slowly, whatever. I had gained some weight. Clearly it was filled with liquid. I didn't lose the weight right away, but I eventually did. And I'll post a cute little picture here of me when I was at my lowest, and I felt like I felt amazing. Like I felt sexy. I felt like what I've never felt before. I didn't feel feminine before because there was nothing cute to wear that I felt myself. Not that there isn't, but that I felt was enough. And not only that, like I would get bullied by people. I would get called fat. I would get called Miss Piggy. I would be called like all these different things. And despite me not caring what they said, it did take a toll on me because I didn't feel like I deserved to be called names, And that's one of like the motivation that it gave me to actually lose the weight is like, nah, bitch, you ain't gonna call me names and think that it's okay. And I'm gonna show you that I am better than that, and I'm over that. Like now that I'm older, I wish that I didn't set my mind to be like, bitch, look at me. I wish I would have been like, no, I'm doing it because I want to be healthy. I want to be happy. I want to be, I want to show my kids that, I did something to better my health to be here longer. Mind you, what it did was kind of the opposite. So I ended up, I think because of the nutrient deficiency for so long, I ended up developing suspicion of lupus and like fibromyalgia and like all these crazy things, right? So eventually, I've got the diagnosis and fulfilled because it does take a long time. They have to see your records, blah, 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 like all that stuff. It takes a long time to get a full diagnosis. I have Raynaud's disease, which like your extremities, your ears, nose, toes get really, really cold. And so going out, especially like in this blizzard right now, check it out, check it out. Hells no. Oh my God, I don't know if you can see it, but I'll bring it out there. It was bad. Like I went through a stage in my life where I was like, this needs to end. Like, I don't even want to be here right now. Like, I don't even want to be in earth right now. I want to get better. Anyway, I'm not even going to get to that sad story because you know what? That's not even my life right now. So anyways, long story short, I went to the hospital in August to the new doctor who's seeing me. And so I told him, listen, I think I need a little bit more, whatever it is, saline. I think I need a little bit more because I feel that I'm not, like I'm always hungry. And I don't think it was hunger now that I think of it. I think it was more like my need to like satisfy my cravings because I'm addicted to sugar, you know? So he ended up putting about half a cc in. I don't know if it's cc or milliliters. I don't even know. But they ended up putting it in. And it was great. Wonderful. Like I felt like, oh, this is great. But I ended up eating popcorn. And I think the popcorn got stuck like around the port, like, cause you know, you really don't digest the corn, I don't know, the exterior, something like that. I ended up getting stuck around the port. So what ended up happening is every time I drank, it kept coming up. And every time I ate, it kept coming up. And I was like, no, this has to end. So I was like extremely frustrated because not only do I have this pain and this discomfort in my stomach, I have surgery coming up on March 29th. And how the hell am I supposed to drink a gallon of water for my tummy tuck? Impossible. So I ended up going to the, I ended up making an appointment a few weeks ago. Oh, last week. They ended up taking out all the fluid that I had, which was about 7.25. From the band. So they completely took it out. Well, completely deflated it, because it's like a balloon. So they completely deflated it, and I was able to kind of like, eat, drink. Oh my God, it felt so good when I took that water, with that drink of water that they make you, girl. That thing was like, I felt it from here, because my pouch is about here. It went down and I was like, ooh, yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to feel. I told them like, ooh, I went like this. It was so funny. I was just like, ooh, this is exactly what I wanted. And they were like looking at me like, what? I'm like, listen, I know I'm a little bit extra because I'm happy and I want to thank you guys so much. So anyways, they made me get an upper GI last week. The upper GI ended up coming back that my band was tilted. So instead of the band being like this in this angle, it was like this. So it was causing a bulge here, an extra bulge, and it was causing and because of the puking, I ended up getting a hiatal hernia. Now I have like constant heartburn, and that may eventually need to get repaired. But the band is like this tilted, which can rupture the lining of your stomach if you leave it untreated. So they were like, no, we need to remove it ASAP. They were like, we can do the gastric sleeve or the tummy tuck. The gastric sleeve or the gastric bypass. Gastric bypass, what they do is they take the stomach and they cut it, they staple it, and they reroute the small intestines over to your stomach or something like that, to the top. I don't even know. Then unlike the sleeve, they cut the stomach, like make it shaped like a banana. So just to give you an example, this is what it will look like. So this is like, you know, obviously your esophagus and whatever else. And this is where your stomach will end up being. Now, the only thing is with any bariatric surgery, it can cause malabsorption, which can eventually lead to malnutrition. That's one of the negative effects of bariatric surgery, and I've learned my lesson. And let me tell you, they told me that they can do the sleeve or the gastric bypass after they do the removal, like right away. My insurance will cover it and they would process it. And you know what I said? I declined because my iron levels are low. I was able to get everything else up, but my iron level is about 11.2. It needs to be at 12 before my tummy tuck. But yeah, that's gonna be another that is definitely going to be another video that I will post. But I wanted just to kind of give you guys an update what's going on with me, but with my tummy, with my why do I keep saying that? With my removal of my band. I'm like really excited. I'm probably left a bunch of things out. I just feel like there's so much to say. It's just that I also have a lot of gas, by the way, since they opened up the stomach. Like opened up the band, like I'm totally gassing up here. Whew, it's so crazy. Oh, what I did want to also talk about was I started taking iron supplements and like a bunch of other stuff to get my hemoglobin up. And I'm going to show you on the next video because I just feel like we're already about 20 minutes in and I just need to kind of cut it short and tell you guys my surgery. My surgery is coming up. It's on the 7th of February. They're going to remove it completely. My stomach is going to be intact. Everything's going to go good. I'm going to be ready for my tummy tuck on March 29th. So positive vibes, pray, anything, just send it my way. Please comment, like, share my video. I am here just for informational purposes. I am not an expert. It's just me. This is what I'm dealing with right now. And I just wanted to kind of like share it with the world because I feel like it's important. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys have a wonderful Saturday. And yeah, I'm going to show you guys the outside now. Look at this crap. I mean, it's not so bad, but it's like, yeah,